stands that actually for a country to be able to donate, they should have at the least 1% of their population being able to donate blood. But in Uganda, we are barely close to 1%. Now, this morning, with the start of this drive, NSSF has organized the National Social Security Fund in line with the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services to make sure that at least we can do the bare minimum, because the last year, which was 2018, in January, we had a blood shortage within our hospitals, and they were called death traps. Now, I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Michael Mukundane, coming in from the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services. He is the coordinator, Blood Donor Recruitment, Central Region. You're most welcome, Mr. Michael.
Thank you, Rita.
And from NSSF, I am joined by Miss Arim Babra, who is the Head of Communications and Marketing. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much.
Now, I have told you that we are barely doing anything when it comes to 1% of our population being able to donate blood, which can help in surgeries. It could help pregnant mothers who are delivering. It could help sickle cell sicklers as well. Well, Mr. Michael, let's start off this conversation with where Uganda is in regards to blood donation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rita, and good morning, our viewers, today morning. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the National Social Security Fund for being a very, very consistent partner for the last 7 years, and this is our 8th edition with them. Every year they are on board with us to collect blood for our patients in the country. They support mobilization, they support us in different parts of the country to appeal to the public, to mobilize the general public to donate blood. Thank you for not only saving funds, but also saving blood for our people.
You're welcome.
I would like to thank our partner, the NTV, as part of the media fraternity that supports life. Thank you very much, and especially carrying out positive stories today and onwards, appealing the public to donate blood. Well, where do we stand? The World Health requirement is that 1% of the population of any country should be blood donors. Okay. In Uganda, we are at close to 0.7%
of that 1%.
Of our population, of the 1% that is a requirement. And we've been trying our best. First of all, blood donation is voluntary, is non-remunerated activity. There's no exchange for your blood. It's donated at zero cost, and it is also issued out to hospitals for patients in need at zero cost. We've been doing this work for quite a long time, for quite many years, with support from volunteers who donate this blood. The challenge we have, of course, is that people have not embraced it fully. Say that you find free walk-ins every time to different blood collection centers, to regional blood banks, different sites where we stage by mobile teams to collect the blood. And that is one of the reasons. We could have other challenges as an institution in terms of the way we publicize, challenges of publicity here and there. But the issue is patriotism. I feel if people are patriotic enough and so generous enough, looking at the perhaps approximately 40 million people we have in the country, would be able to collect this blood. Would move from the approximately 0.7% to 1%, and meet the needs. But you find the requirements for blood are very high, causes for severe anemia are very high, very many severe anemia patients are in the hospitals. Those cases are quite many, and we need blood all the time. And this blood has a shelf life of 35 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means we need to have...
Meaning every other day we need to be out in the field collecting blood. That is the implication.
Yes.
Because even if we got 1 million units of blood today, after 35 days they may not be of use. So we need to continue replenishing and also collecting this blood if it has to be of use. Also, we have blood products like platelets whose shelf life is 5 days. And they are prepared out of fresh blood. So this calls for continuous collection of blood all the time. And now in Uganda, where we are, is that last year we were able to collect, our target was 240,000 units of blood. We were able to collect 220 units of blood. We had a deficit of about 20,000 units of blood. This year, looking at the need, you have heard about kidney transplants, you have heard about many other innovations, opening of the women hospital in Mulago, and looking at the requests and the usage of blood over a period of time. That's the yardstick we use to set our targets. And we set our target at 300,000 units of blood. Depending on the previous usage, and also requests that come in.
So what's our target for this year, 2019?
This financial year, our target by 30th June, we need to have collected 300,000 units of blood. And
one of the people and the organizations that's joining you in collecting that 300,000 of those units of blood is NSSF.
NSSF. Of course, NSSF is equally not alone. We have other companies and organizations. We have the Indian Association, where we started the forum of this period around collecting 75,000 units between November and February 15th. We need to have collected that. We need to bridge this gap of holidays.
To make sure the children are at home and all.
Yeah, all that is contributing. We have many other organizations that have been coming up, Coca-Cola, but NSF has its time, which is an annual event.
Now, speaking of that annual event, which is and has been going on for 7 years, this will be the 8th year running. NSSF has the hashtag, and they are saying, "Stand up for life, donate blood." For you as a viewer who is watching, they're asking you to simply stand up for life and donate blood. Now, you can call in. The number is on the screen in case you have a comment, and the hashtag is morning@NTV in case you'd like to tweet or use your social media accounts, Facebook and Twitter. Now, as we get into it, Miss Barbara, as NSSF, what location points for those that would really like to contribute to the 300,000 units of blood that Mr. Michael has just spoken about? Where can they access these points?
Okay, before I get into the locations, I just wanted to say that, first of all, NSSF is very honored to be part of the blood drive.
Yes.
And like you have rightly put it, and he has said, this is our 8th time that we are collecting this blood.
Yeah.
We've seen the numbers go up every year. Prior to last year, we used to actually just do the drives within Kampala.
Okay.
But with effect from last year, we rolled it out across the country, and we were able to see our numbers double. Because initially, when we were in Kampala, we were doing about 1,500 units. But now, last year, we did actually 5,400.
Okay.
Although our target was 4,500 units. So this year we do have a target of 6,000, but we know that we might surpass it.
So NSSF has its target as well in order to help get the 300,000 units of blood.
Yes.
That leaves, okay.
Yeah, and last year we rolled it out under the hashtag MyType.
Okay.
And we noticed that this hashtag got a life of its own, and several organizations came up with that hashtag. I noticed Uganda police coming on board as well, and using the same hashtag. So we know that when we start the year on this note, we drum up the publicity, people pick up, and then we want the first thing to be on someone's mind is, I need to donate blood. That is why we have this drive in the beginning of the year. Now, in terms of locations, of course, we'll be in Kampala, at Workers' House, at Constitutional Square. And he's going to help me, Kalere Market as well.
Yeah, Kalere Market as well.
And then
Chairman Roundabout. We're also at Mkwana Arcade. We are going to be at Owino Market.
Yes.
We shall also be in Jinja. The market shall be in Hoima, Kabale, Soloti, Lila. Shall also be in Entebbe during the 6 days. Shall be in Mbale, shall be in Gulu, shall be in Arua, we shall be in Masaka, we shall also be in Soroti. And in some of these places, we are at NSSF branches.
Okay.
We are also in areas with high pedestrian traffic, like the markets, on some of the streets, like in Elira. And many other places. In Barara, we are at Independence Park and at the bus park. We identify areas with high pedestrian traffic. And that is where we want to tap in, and where there is visibility, where our tents can be seen, our vans can be seen, and people can come in and give this gift of life to save someone out there, because you really never know whom you are saving. Those are our different locations in the country.
Okay, now we speak of the locations which seem to be far and spread wide, meaning that anyone can actually, wherever you are watching this from, you can be able to get to an NSSF office and be able to donate, or wherever you see the tent being put up, you can be able to reach them. Now let's get into how you know you're able to actually give blood. What do you require to be able to give blood? Can Rita give blood, or might there be something wrong with me? I could seem healthy, but there's something.
Yeah, thank you, Rita. Now, one thing is that we are kicking off this week, and we are really targeting 6,000 units of blood.
Yes, that's with
from
NSSF.
today with NSSF. We want the 6 days of the week, today up to Saturday, to have collected 6,000 units of blood for our patients in the country. And who are these people that we really need? Who that would qualify, that really melt to give us this blood? And these are people who are feeling well in the first place. To give this blood, you must be feeling well. If you are well, you are not on any medication, you're not taking any painkillers. Health-wise, you feel that my health is well. You are please welcome to come on board and share the gift of life with the patient out there. Come and give this unit of blood. This is my appeal to such people. These same people must be weighing 45 kilograms and above.
Okay.
Because
that is very key.
Weight is very key in this. You also must...
Rita, I hope you weigh.
No, I will not tell you how much I weigh, but I weigh over 45.
Sure, that's very nice.
Over 45.
So you're my donor. You are my donor today or tomorrow, anytime this week. You're my blood donor. If you have, but there are other areas we have to look at.
Like?
You must also be 17 years and above.
Okay.
I feel maybe you also qualify in that. For ladies, you must not be undergoing your periods.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to restrict it to that. No bigger reason why you shouldn't. But we really don't know how you fare with your periods. So we do not want to take risk.
Yes.
And whereas we really need blood, we need the safety of the blood donor.
Okay.
We need to have blood from you, but you still stay safe. You can say that you can come again and again to donate blood. And we want this to be a very pleasant exercise for you. When you do it today, you feel you want to do it another day, and also to recommend other people to come and donate blood. You must not be having any infectious diseases. That could include syphilis, HIV and AIDS, hepatitis B, hepatitis C. If in the past you were diagnosed with any of those diseases, or you are found to have any of those infectious diseases, you really do not come on board to donate. You must not have had malaria, at least in the last 1 month. You know, because of course perhaps malaria has depleted you and has done a lot to your body, still recovering, because we do not want to take risk for any of the lives that may come to donate blood. And also you must not be having certain chronic diseases, I mean the high blood pressure, the diabetes, some of those conditions, sickle cells, those cancers. If you feel you have been diagnosed with any of those diseases, you have been found to have any of those diseases that you live with over a long time, please, you don't come on board to donate if you are found to have certain diseases or certain conditions that do not require you to donate blood. So you come on board and then you can give us blood. You must not have things like tattoos, especially those that, because we really don't know how those tattoos that were under which conditions they were done. Maybe it was not a sterile procedure. You know, we really don't know. We're not sure if they were done. So
if someone has had, or the young people would call it inked themselves, have had a tattoo?
No, there are those ones which are not done under those hard procedures that maybe surgical work.
Yes.
Yeah, but if it has been done under sterile condition, maybe it's okay. But we can't ascertain for us. There are those things they put around here with just writings.
Yes,
those
you just wake up and go and have someone
write. Yeah, they're okay. But there are those which may involve kind of cutting and even breeding. Really, we don't encourage people to come when they're like that to come.
So if someone does not know, maybe as you have raised, if perhaps they could have a chronic disease that they're not aware of, infectious disease that they could have already gotten a while back, and maybe a few things that are still in their system that could make their blood not the best for transfusion, what happens to that blood?
Yeah, definitely. Some people may not be aware with some other infections, even hepatitis B. Some people are living with it and they're not aware that they really have it because they have not maybe come up to test or have not had this campaign about it, that we need to test for hepatitis B and know if you have it. Yes, that blood sometimes when we get that blood, and definitely we do get the blood.
Yes.
When we have gotten that blood, it is not used. It is not put to use. So we really burn it
so it goes to waste.
It goes to waste, definitely. But we want people to have what we call self-deferral. If really they have talked about what is required to donate blood, or you have come to the donation site, you have looked at the materials, you have talked to our nurses, to our medical team, they have talked to you, they have discussed with you, they have looked at the ABC of your life, and you have gone through a discussion with them, some what we call pre-donation counseling or pre-donation talks on site. Really, that is when we determined, we have assessed the level of risk. Because as we need donors, we need low-risk donors. And we need to make sure we meet our target of having safe blood and ultimately go and save the life of these people out there. So on that one, we expect people to defer themselves. If you're not sure yourself, if you have, like, there are some questions that may be asked, the number of sexual partners you have had,
you can't answer that.
Where we are looking at sexual behaviors. We rely on the honesty of the potential donors. We expect these donors to be very honest with us. If you have multiple partners and you have had unsafe sex over time, for example, we expect you to open up and really tell us the truth. If you really don't tell us the truth, it can affect either side. One, won't get the blood that to put to use. Two, you may not be very safe. If for example, you have any disease and you don't open up and say, I have high blood pressure, and sometimes you can check, after checking it is normal, but it has been your problem off and on. If you don't open up and tell us, it can have bad results on you. So we expect people to be very honest enough, and we are lucky we've been having people opening up for us, and we have been able to collect blood that is for really use to save these lives.
Okay. Now,
can I add something to what he has said? Because I have definitely participated and gone to try and give blood the last time. What happens is there's a simple test they usually run. There is a liquid that the nurse has on the table.
They prick you.
And then, and then they put your blood in there. So if your blood doesn't actually sink, then they tell you that you don't have enough blood to give. So I think that's a very important test that I would have loved us to really mention to people.
Yeah, sure. But thanks for the reminder.
Because sometimes you can meet all those other criteria, but then perhaps you don't have enough blood to give, and you don't know. You're feeling normal, everything is okay.
Your age, your weight, everything is as per.
But then actually there is another simple test that they actually conduct before they get your blood.
So for those that are afraid of the prick, perhaps you could go ahead and try it before, because we need to know when you go to donate, when you say 6,000 units, and someone would be very scared and say, is this all going to come from me? So how much do they get from one person? As you say, you want someone to come back. So how much do they expect of blood to be taken from you, from Barbara, from I?
We take, we draw on the 450 mils. For a layman's understanding, maybe a bottle of soda, I would say. And that is the little we take from an individual. And I usually say that we take from your excess. Trying to say that
there's so much more.
Yeah, that you have more, because after taking that, the 450 mils, you still feel okay, you still do your activities very well. It does not have effect on your own body. So I feel, to me, we have picked on excess. You have shared your excess blood with the patient, because what we have taken from you has no effect on your body.
Your body continues to run as
you continue to run your daily errands, your whatever activities you are doing. You come back to the studios and do work, for example. You run to your garden, you go back to your businesses and do them without any effect, because you have donated. They have taken maybe what you think is much blood from you, but we have taken from your excess. And that is why we do a hemoglobin estimation, the HB estimation, when you come to see if you really have blood in excess. Yeah, they'll tell you, want to see if you have enough. Yeah, if you really have adequate blood such that you can share with those in need. Really, people out there need the blood. There are quite a number of people who need this blood. Every other minute, every other second, I can assure you, there's where they are doing a blood transfusion. There's somebody receiving this blood. And that is why we need this blood.
Now, speaking of the fact that the need is actually there, but the fact is that are we actually supplying this demand that is there already? As it exists, we are 3 people right now that you are watching, all above 17, all, I believe, above the weight of 45 kilograms. We all look healthy and well. We're not sure of what could be happening in our systems right now, but we look healthy and well. But as it stands, according to statistics, we have more people, more children actually within school-going age being the ones to give from 17 and above, being the ones that are making sure they meet the demand for this blood donation within our country, Uganda. So let's talk about the myths that are actually surrounding blood donation within our country, and let's try and take them down, because as it stands with the NSSF drive, which is Stand Up for Life, Donate Blood, 6,000 units are required of blood. Mr. Michael, what are the myths that people should stop believing and why?
Well, there are quite many, but people should stop believing that when you donate blood, you can die. So some people have that kind of feeling. When I donate, I can faint, I can die, I'll be unwell. No, this is not really true. Fainting can be there, but it's not common. You can have 1 out of 1,000 not feeling well. And this fainting can be a result of fear. The fear to look at blood itself, the fear to look at the needle.
It's in the mind.
Yes, it is in the mind. But you compare that kind of you give blood, you feel a little dizzy, and then, but you are saving somebody, you have saved someone. Compare the life you are saving and that temporary kind of
that feeling.
So it is not something, we've not collected blood from people and lost a life. That is what I'm trying to say, basically. That and these are managed. These are managed, and they are rare. They rarely happen. They rarely happen. There's no problem. For sure, it is blood donation is a simple, quick exercise and very safe. The exercise of blood donation is very safe. Well, it is a sterile process. It is very safe for you at the beginning, during, and even after. It's a safe exercise.
Because we're picking from
that you will, that you will do. I've personally done it 17 times. Yeah, I've done blood donation for 17 times, and I'm okay. People have done it over 140 times. We have people like General Katumba Mara has done it 60 times. Quite a number of people here have done it 90, 80 times, 70 times,
I can't
10 times, 5 times.
The number of times he has mentioned.
It is that very easy.
Makes me feel challenged.
That kind of myth that I will collapse, I'll be what. Of course, there are some others who believe that maybe their culture or their region does not allow blood donation, but that's not a big percentage. It's a very small percentage, like the Jehovah's Witness who say we don't donate blood, it's not good to donate. Such kind of myth surrounding blood donation. And we need to array it really and tell the public, and I need to inform my viewers that there's no problem with blood donation. It is a healthy exercise that if you can, please, and you're feeling well and you're out there, please do it for the sake of saving lives of many people out there.
Okay, and as we speak of the 450 meals that just one person will require to have to give within this exercise this week, can someone come more than one time within this particular week?
No. You cannot donate blood within that same particular week.
How long does it require to?
For the males, you need to spend every after 3 months, you donate the blood. For the females, every after 4 months, you donate blood. Both sexes, do 3-4 times respectively every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as we talk about the both males and females, for a number of people who are getting to work this morning and are hearing, I actually meet all the requirements, I can be able to donate blood, I really want to save a life this morning, how much of your time will be taken out of your day to be able to actually get to one of these locations and donate blood?
Yeah, the blood donation exercise takes between 8 to 15 minutes. Where we don't take donors for more than 15 minutes of donation. The moment they insert the needle, we don't allow you to go for more than 15 minutes. Otherwise, there we disconnect. And it is such fast. Some people do it in 4 minutes, 5 minutes, they have done their donation, 10 minutes, they are finished. The whole process, if after you have just arrived on the donation site, could take you 25 to 30 minutes. And then you're back on your desk to do work. It's not a time-wasting exercise.
Okay. Now let's talk about NSSF in regards to the launch of it today, where it's going to be happening. Where is it being flagged off?
It's going to be flagged off at Mulago, that is the intensive care. And the reason is because we really want people to appreciate the need, because we'll be able to see the people that actually are utilizing this blood after the press conference. We, of course, will have our main partner, and then we'll also have the Red Cross, and then a representative from Mulago. And I'm very confident that even as we launch this out, several people are going to, I'm very hopeful that today we'll raise 1,000 units of blood.
That means for every day of
our
this
target
week,
is 1,000.
1,000. Yes. That's interesting.
But today might be the lowest, because if we do 1,000 today, more people will get to know.
Yes.
Because perhaps someone has just heard about it today, they'll make up their mind and plan during the course of the week to come. So we expect the numbers to go up.
Okay.
We are optimistic we'll score more than 6,000.
As I hope also, because I'll be coming by. The first time I ever tried to donate, it was a failure. Unfortunately, it was not able to sing when they did the test. Perhaps today it will be able to sing.
That would
and
really
if it can,
be nice.
Yes, I would really want
from
to.
you.
Yes, that's 450
Really
meals.
need the unit.
Yes, that's 450 meals taking it out of the day. Now,
and the equivalent of saving one life. Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the positive bit of it. How much NSSF has been able to do with regards to the Uganda blood transfusion services. How do you score your partnership without being biased?
It has been a very good partnership, and more so on the impact side. When we look at the impact assessment, how many lives have we actually saved over the 8 years? And I would say approximately 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is just simply
That is just an approximation. And like I said initially, we're focusing mostly within Kampala.
Yes.
And then now we have scaled it up across the country. So looking at the lives saved, 20,000 is a big thing.
Yes, it is.
And we know that the partnership has been fruitful because more and more people are coming on board. More organizations are picking this up and saying we also want to donate blood.
Yes.
And so I know there is that triple effect. And if you look at their numbers, and the key issue here is sensitization. Yes. If he has told you that last year their target was, I think, 300,000 to 40, and you collected 220. So there was just a shortfall of 20. So I think that even as we create more awareness through this partnership, there's been a ripple effect at the blood bank. And I know that this year, and I'm very optimistic, Michael, that this year we should close when we have actually hit our target. And he was saying that by now we've already hit 170,000.
Yeah. Which
is good. But then I think there is an aspect of sustainability.
Yes.
If it's 1% of the population, and that is an approximation of 40 million, that means perhaps on a monthly we need 40,000 units of blood.
Yes.
Yeah. So we will continue to create the sensitization across our platforms and keep reminding people to give blood on a monthly so that we sustain it. Because again, if we get it all at a go, it's not going to serve
because of the shelf life that it has.
Yes.
Because now that we know that blood has a shelf life of 35 days.
Yes.
Even I didn't know that till today.
Sure.
And the fact that with platelets,
yes,
we have 5 days to that. But how much could we put an estimation to how much blood is actually discarded off after a drive?
No,
Or there's none, you can't really be too sure depending on the patient.
It's less than 1%.
It's less than
Yeah,
1%.
for you see the blood donor community, our blood donor base is safe. It's a safe community. The biggest percentage is a safe one.
Okay.
By the time you think about donating blood and say, let me make it, you're really confident that this blood is going to save my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
That this is how I've had my life. This is how I've lived it. I've lived it in a safe way, and I feel my blood is really safe. That confidence to gather the courage, and then you donate blood. You big percentage, very sure that your blood is very safe and that you're giving. And we are able to collect this blood from safe donors and to save these lives.
Now, to speak of the safe donors, there's this one thing. Everyone would love to donate blood. But then it goes back to, yes, we have a shelf life of 35 days for blood. And in regards to the campaign of NSSF last year, which was 2018, My Type.
Yes.
Let's talk about blood type in regards to blood donation. Because that's one thing, yes, for a number of people. It could have been in primary, you could have read about it. But it limits the scope of, you would really want to give. I could give about 160 times. But maybe I couldn't give anyone, or I can't even be able to receive, because we've had that kind of thing. With regards to the shortages of last year in blood, there are a number of people who would make the call. I did receive a call asking me for a particular blood type for me to actually give. Yes, so let's talk about the blood type, Mr. Michael, and also
the different blood groups we have. We have the A, we have the B, we have the AB, and also have the A, the O. And then we also have the rhesus, the negative and the positive. All these groups have either positive or negative. The AB negative, the O negative, the B negative, the A negative, and vice versa. So these groups are the ones we have. The ABO blood system in the human beings is what we have. O has the highest percentage. Or positive has the highest percentage. Sometimes we have the blood and people have donated it. You even come to the blood bank and our shelves are full of blood, but unfortunately your type is not there, especially if you are a negative rhesus. We have also, the population has about 2% are negative. 2% of the population in Uganda have negative rhesus.
Okay, just to stop you there for a second, Mr. Michael Kundani. We do have a call online. Hello, good morning. Oh, we have lost that call. Please call us back. The number is on the screen as we continue the conversation in regards to the blood type. And you're being a part of the 2019 blood donation campaign that NSSF, in line with the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, is running. And it starts today, the 14th of January 2019. Please go ahead, Azula.
Yes, I was telling you, sometimes we have challenges of negative rhesuses. People have donated this blood because the population of negative rhesus is very small. You could get 1,000 blood donors, and only one individual has a negative rhesus on it. Like maybe AB negative is maybe one person, or B negative, and it is challenging. So, but what have we done as an institution? We have a data bank in which we register all those that are negative, and we can always call them from time to time. And these are donating more regularly than other donors because of the demand for their blood. Somebody is O negative, and O negative is a universal donor. Can give everyone. Everyone can benefit from O negative as a universal donor. Whereas O negative only receives from O negative. Surely. So this is one challenge we have. When the rhesus is negative and not positive, you find your type is that. That becomes a very serious challenge. And you start saying, there's no blood, we are suffering. Perhaps some people will do the brain game, the National Blood Bank is not working, the Ministry of Health is not working.
People are not donating.
But you see, identifying that type is a challenge. But like our strategy is, we have said, let's have a data bank, which we have. We keep calling it from time to time, and since blood is for emergencies, what we do, we provide.
Yes.
We've been trying our best. If you need 4 units and you come and you can call people and get all the units you lucky, then well and good. If you can get 2 to take you for some time, also well and good. And we have saved these lives many times.
Wow. Yes.
At the end of the year, we had those cases at IHK. We had very serious bleeding cases of mothers, and the people are calling us. People know me as an individual. People know me as their friend. The colleagues in the health sector who called me, and they were saying, Mike, we need this blood. My boss, they were calling my director. They were calling my other colleagues. They were coming to the blood bank. I'm mobilizing donors. Since I'm in charge of coordinating this blood donation, I have to call people. I have to ask my colleagues, let's call people, let's try this one to come. But when sometimes you call somebody, says I'm in Bombo, another one says I'm up country.
Yes, I'm not in the country actually.
I recently donated. Of course, some others donate. They have already donated. They are not yet due. Time has not elapsed. So we need many. If people out there know their blood groups and know they are rhesus negative and they can come and register with us,
it would help.
Yes, it would help to build a bigger base, a bigger data base, so that we can always pick on very fast when such emergencies with rare blood groups are really on. And then we can save this life.
And I think
this is what we're trying to do.
Michael has touched on a very important aspect,
Which is?
The fact that there can be a shortage of the particular negative type of blood.
Not that the entire country is having a shortage.
Exactly. And I think that is a very good thing that you've talked about, because it's an opportunity for us to clear the fact that because sometimes people say, but we are giving blood, but where is the blood? Yes. So it's just that the blood is there, but perhaps that particular type is not there. I think that's a very good opportunity for clarification.
It really is, given that we were a country that was, we had actually a number of people losing their lives in 2018 in January. A story was actually covered on NTV, in which regard there was a member of the public who lost their lives, first of all because of the blood shortage, and also the fact, yes, type is very key here and there, which he has raised. But also one thing that he talks about is the database. We have a lot of blood being given here and there. It's not that we do not have. Yes. But let's talk about the criteria of distributing the blood to the different hospitals within Uganda. We have a number of hospitals, a number of referral hospitals, private hospitals as well. So what criteria does the Uganda blood transfusion services use?
Uganda Blood Transfusion Service has a department in the Ministry of Health. It is semi-autonomous.
Okay.
It's semi-autonomous, and it is the only department or only institution mandated to mobilize, collect, test, and distribute blood. The criteria is that when these health facilities apply to have transfusion services, they apply to be accredited and allowed to start doing blood transfusion as part of their clinical practice in treatment of patients. What these people do, they apply to the blood bank, the National Blood Bank. The National Blood Bank has a team that assesses the suitability of these facilities to be credited and merit to start receiving blood for transfusion. After that one is done, then they are accredited to have the blood, either private, government, all these facilities.
So what you're saying is that it's not every clinic that will actually be able to make sure blood transfusion happens. So in case you're going to have one there, you need to ask, are they accredited before you can go ahead?
It is not every health facility that you will find that qualifies to transfuse blood. Because blood transfusion is not a simple procedure. It's not a simple medical kind of treatment. It's not. You must be accredited. You must qualify. For example, if you have a theater, like now in Uganda, all health center, up to health center falls, they are allowed to transfuse because these ones have medical doctors there. They have theaters. So they are supposed to transfuse. So they are accredited. and they transfuse. The private facilities also, they are graded, and we look at the facilities if they have the capacity to handle blood, and also they can transfuse. So what they do after crediting you, then what happens, how do we distribute the blood? These facilities make requests to the blood banks. You know, we have the National Blood Bank, whose headquarters is at Nakasero, Nakasero Hill here. Then we also have regional blood banks in different regions, in Bale, in Gulu, in Fort Potro, in Mbarara, in Masaka, in Arua. These are our regional blood banks. And in these regions, we also have blood collection centers in different parts. The collection centers are the ones that send blood to the regional blood banks where the testing processing takes place. The collection centers entirely, they don't test, but some of them now we have upgraded them to even to distribute the blood. They collect and then they distribute. After testing in the regional blood banks, we send the tested blood and then they distribute blood to those facilities in the area. We are trying to take services closer to the people there, to those facilities. So these ones make requests to the either collection distribution centers, to the regional blood banks, and then they are issued. Then on their request, they have what they require. You say, I need group O plus, 5 units. I need A, this. I need B negative, this number. Then you come, and in our stock, we see what we have and what we can offer. If you are lucky and we have all that you have asked for, that day is your good day. Is your good day. You take everything. If you come and then we say, oh, like a period when we don't have, when our stocks are down, and then you need 5 here, you need 10 here, in total you need about 30 units, then we can be able maybe to give 15 or 20 units. Depending on what we have.
So Mr. Mkundane, we do have a call on the line. Good morning. Hello, good morning. You're live on NTV.
Hello, morning.
Good morning. Who are we speaking to and where are you calling in from?
Okay, you are speaking to Abongosi Silva from Sorot, yeah?
Yes, Silva.
I am sorry in case I tuned in late. I wanted to find out, is there age limit in donating blood?
Well, that's a very perfect question. Thank you so much.
Like, assuming I'm 60 or 80.
Where does it stop for you to be able?
Maybe I look fat, but am I supposed to? If a boy is like 8 or 10 or what? That is one. Then 2, me personally, okay, I'm O plus.
Yes.
And I used to donate blood so much. But I got discouraged going to the hospital when this time your friend needs. You have the card, you pull out the card, and you're told it is not there. I have had 3 occasions where some of my friends who used to donate blood, when you pull out the card, if it is your closest person, you are told it is not there. Now, what happens? I think there is a lot of sensitization which needs to be carried out. Maybe I suggest if churches could be used. One, as a campaigning drive towards blood donation, and 2, as also a donation avenue, because I see that is where very many people go. But otherwise, I support it because that is how we save lives. And you also remember to include our APs. I would love to see cameras on them than see them complaining of food in the canteen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Silva from Soroti. Now we'll start off with the age limit. Do we have an age limit to blood donation?
Yes, we do. It starts from 17 to 65. But if you have been a regular blood donor, you can donate up to 70.
Really?
At the
and the second thing that he has mentioned is sensitization of the citizens within the country.
Yes, we try to move out and sensitize people in the communities when we have opportunities, when we have platforms where we can meet people and sensitize. I've been to Rotary clubs, made presentation. I've been in companies, in ministries, and made presentations to people. We've been to the rural communities where we have blood donor clubs. We have formed some blood donor clubs, people having something in common, and here what is in common is that they want to be voluntary blood donors. We have them in the country in different parts, and we have educated those people. When we have opportunities to be on radios, we have talked to people and we have told them the need for blood donation. Today we are doing the same when we get opportunities, and we have partners who can offer airtime. Of course, you know the challenges of publicity. Publicity in every institution, especially the multinational companies and the private sector, and even for government, it takes a bigger budget of the institution. So it may not be running daily or being drummed daily on TV and radio, or you cannot be in the community every day doing that. It's not rather possible. But every time we get opportunities and we are mobilizing in schools, we talk to students. In markets, we have time to talk on those local zindaros and those local kind of information dissemination equipment. And we do talk about the need for blood and why people should donate and what they can do. And now the gentleman, I'm very sorry, having not found blood in Soroti a number of times for your colleagues, it does happen, like I told you, that at times we have blood, at times
we don't have it.
You go to a hospital and they say blood is not there. Maybe blood is there at the blood bank, but maybe the hospital has not picked the blood. We also need to know some of those things. Some facilities may have institutional challenges and they have delayed to pick the blood. Maybe they have no ambulance, maybe they have no transport. And then, because we have had issues where someone has not picked blood from Nakasero and they're calling you, we don't have blood in this facility. And you say, but we have the blood. And when you go, but they came there, no blood. You follow up, you find, no, but this facility has not been here. Or the facility has just even been here for the last 30 minutes or 1 hour. But the call from the hospital patient attendants are saying, they have told us there is no blood. You know? So the management of blood at the clinical level, I think needs also to be looked at. We do supervision, but we may not be there all the time.
To make sure.
However, there are blood transfusion committees in those facilities. Then the other thing, maybe I have told you, sometimes our stocks dwindle. The stocks go down. They come down, especially during these holidays, because our largest blood donor base are mostly school-going children, the students, and this time they're on holiday, and that is why now we're trying to bridge this gap by engaging the non-school going communities, by engaging corporate institutions, the NSF, the NTV, Indian Association, Rotary clubs. We are engaging many companies, coffee development, very many, Coca-Cola. We are working with Skahel Simon. We are working with many other people that have passion for saving lives and passion for blood donation. We are trying our best. We are going to blood donor clubs. Like at the end of the year, we are in donor clubs in Butumbiri, in Kayunga, in Mukono, we're in Muwende, we're in Mitiana, and other parts of the country where we have those donor clubs. We are also engaging with the military, the police,
and perhaps some more private companies should come on board.
And we're in Kawaweta, we're in Singwa at the end of the year, we're in Nambole, and I don't think you have had issues as we ended the year. I don't think December was any issue, by the way.
We started off on a shorter note, but by the end of 2018, we actually moved. Now, moving on to one thing that I want you and Barbara to actually answer, which is a bit of a shake my head kind of moment in regards to a story that was run last year, at the end of last year, with the Ministry of Health saying that they would like to start charging private hospitals for blood that they actually pick and will be using with their patients, because apparently it turns out that there are a number of private hospitals that are already charging patients for this blood, which perhaps should be free. And is it ethical? Do you agree with it? Do you think that perhaps this money is required?
I honestly actually, while we were talking about the issues at the hospitals and the fact that a donor can actually walk to a hospital and not get blood, I think that is a very moving thing. Because it's like you go with your morale up and then
all of a sudden, and that is something, if you need it, you need it, your body requires it.
And I think the same principle should be applied. If you're giving this freely, it shouldn't be charged.
Be it private or
I think irrespective of where you go. Because if you begin to charge, then who takes the money? Shouldn't it then be UBTS to charge for it? And yet the end user is giving it freely. Then that means they're going to have starting to pay the person. You know, like if I go give my blood, then I walk off with maybe 100,000
or maybe 50, depending on how much blood
you know. And then at the end of the day, it loses morale, because blood is something that you can't actually quantify. And the benefit at the end of the day is you're saving a life. And when someone is lost, you can't place a monetary sum onto a person. So I think that since it's a free service, it's a part of giving back to society, it should be maintained as free. But I think that this feedback has been very instrumental. And as a partner, of course, I think there's an opportunity there, right there for UBTS to strengthen the structures and ensure that actually people get this blood when they need it, in terms of, first of all, monitoring, feedback from even the end users, and perhaps even dealing with those who are actually withholding blood from people who need it. Yeah. But overall, I don't think we should charge for it. Yeah.
Mr. Michael Mukundani.
That issue seems very fragile now.
Yes.
It seems it's a very fragile one. I was present when this idea was brought in by the permanent secretary.
I would just like to pause just for a second. Let's take in this call, then we get back to the question. Hello, good morning. Hello. Please call us back. The number is on the screen as we continue the conversation. Now, you are in response to the fact that should it be ethical to charge for blood in private hospitals, Mr. Mukundani? Hello?
Hello?
Good morning. Who are we speaking to?
This is Moses from Mukono.
Yes, Moses.
Yes.
What is your comment this morning?
My comment is about blood screening before someone's blood is used in the hospital. Because I once had an experience when I wanted to donate blood. While I was in Bali,
yes,
my sister had an issue, and it was so funny in such a way that it required that she's given blood, but I had the blood type that she needed, and that blood group that it was needed required that I had to first be screened.
Yes.
So, but if I was to be screened, then that means that she was not going to get the blood. And that really stopped. That really got us off, because she needed blood immediately, but I needed to be screened first. So
yes.
how easy is it just to be
screened?
To be given blood? How can a patient just get blood really if I'm to donate immediately?
Okay, thank you so much, Moses. Mr. Mukundani, what would you have to say about that?
Yes, thank you very much, and sorry about that. But the issue is, well, as we need blood, I've already said we need safe blood. You know, this is a patient you are trying to save. You cannot just give blood just because it's an emergency and you just give. Because they have said the person the blood needs is what group you have.
Yes.
It has to go through a process, and we ascertain, is it safe and suitable to save this person? You get it? So we cannot rush. The medical people in the hospital cannot rush.
Yeah.
The people responsible, the people doing all the care and treatment for this patient cannot just pick any blood and give the patient. One, they must know the blood group. Two, they have to test for infections, the transfusion transmissible infections, such that while they are giving this person blood, they are not causing harm to the patient. That is one reason. So I think they were right to say, let's test.
So there's a procedure to actually
there's a procedure,
sure.
really.
There's a process.
Yes, let's test this blood. It may seem taking long to you,
yes,
but it has to be done. It must be done. No, it doesn't take so long.
Is it an hour, 2 hours?
Yeah, like
because,
so.
as you said, it was quite urgent.
Yeah, like that. Sometimes we have requests for fresh blood. And here when they are talking of fresh blood, they say we need blood that is warm. We will get requests and people come in and they donate it, and we have to run the tests very fast. We're using our modern state-of-art technology now, which we have, and then they issue that blood within a period of, let's say, 2 hours.
Okay, that is when you're using the modern technology. So for someone maybe who is in a village
because
somewhere.
these tests have time. They have time they have to take.
Okay.
We have standard operating procedures that we have.
And where
we
can these
understand.
tests take place? Because as we have learned this morning, not all health facilities are required and accredited to make sure.
In the regional blood banks. But the person said he went to the hospital. You know, this is again what I did not understand. He was getting blood from the hospital. In the hospital, I don't know if they were drawing blood from him again to transfuse, because these hospitals are not mandated to collect blood
on their own.
Okay. They are supposed to pick blood which is already collected by the blood banks.
Collected and screened
and processed and then issued by the blood banks, regional blood banks which we have,
which goes back to sensitization, the fact that if they are having you collect blood in a hospital, that is actually not something right. Could we say it's illegal?
It's not right. It's illegal.
It is actually illegal. So you need to make sure you pay attention to if you're in a hospital. They say let's just draw it. But if it is a regional blood bank,
if it's a regional blood bank drawing blood from you, it's mandated to draw it from you, test, process, and then issue that blood out.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Michael. Now let's go back to the unethical bit or the ethical bit, depending on how you look at it.
I was telling you that the issue of saying blood should be sold to private sectors is a fragile issue now that I would personally want to indulge in. It was the Permanent Secretary's proposal that there have been allegations that blood is being sold by private facilities.
Yes.
You understand? And that donors complain, people complain, and that people receive huge bills when their patients have received blood in those areas. But now the issue is, have they been receiving huge bills or receipts indicating there was blood charged? You see, that is an issue. That's why it is tricky and sensitive, because many times we hear so and so sold me blood. When you go, these people will tell you they have charged nursing care, they have charged the giving sets, and they have to charge those ones. But the actual blood, it's never indicated that blood is charged.
Yes.
Whereas we are saying blood is free. And she was saying, you know, there are many things that are unfunded. She was just giving a speech and talking. We have many unfunded priorities, saying running a blood bank is a very expensive venture. And was saying it at Mengo. I was there when Mengo, the Rotary Club, was handing over vans to use in collecting blood. And she said, I think it is time to think of cost recovery, like other countries. South Africa, most countries, even
Do you
Egypt,
know of the countries, these countries, and how they actually carry out the cost recovery?
Yes.
How do they do it?
They do it through the insurance schemes. Like which we don't have in Uganda. If we had the insurance schemes, and these schemes are the ones that pay the blood bank, then in their budget they say this year we shall use this much blood. And then they give these funds, they pay the money to the national blood banks. Like maybe in UK they pay NHS. In UK, when they pay this money, the blood banks get it to collect, process, and to assist in running the banks. It was a cost recovery proposal,
but not the
end user. Not the end user. You know, not the end user fee. This is the whole thing. Now, these facilities come and say, you need this blood this year, and this is your budget. And then they pay that money to help the banks run, because there's a lot of money put in to have that safe unit of blood. It costs about $40 to have a safe unit of blood at the end of the day.
As we try to wind this up, just to answer this, the two of you could possibly answer it briefly. Should we have this compulsory in offices, perhaps, and organizations, to make sure we widen the base of our ability to get blood for our different hospitals? Because that means we could be able to get from one of the offices, we could have someone with a or positive or negative, you know, things like that. Should we? Do you think it's something officers should think about?
Well, that's again another interesting one. It's more like saying an HIV test should be compulsory for every Ugandan.
Should be tricky as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is really like a CSR thing that appeals to people, and it should, in my opinion, it's something that you should do out of your good nature.
Your own will.
Yes.
Okay, and Mr. Michael, do you agree with that?
I feel, to me, it should be something talked about. Let people say blood donation is very important.
Yes.
Let people have our flyers in their offices and say donate blood, save a life. Let them have our stickers. We've had some chance to have these ones distributed. Let the campaign, the need for blood donation, be known.
Yes.
To me, that is how I would want it. Let them know it is a voluntary exercise, it is non-remunerated, and it can be done, and let them know there are accessible centers where one can go and donate blood. If in continuous trainings and capacity building in some of these organizations, in meetings, if on their agenda they would say donate blood voluntarily, save a life. If you went everywhere and found that, maybe the gospel would go far. For people to know that, hey, there's need for blood. Even a child at home would know.
When they grow up at 17.
Let parents talk about it. In churches, they are talking about it in some of the cells.
Yes, they are.
I have been in groups of cells collecting blood. In the Pentecostal churches, they have talked about it. In All Saints Church, they have talked about it. Let the faith-based organization, which is one of our strategic bases we use to collect blood, and we go and talk to people and educate them, faith-based education. We go and tell these people that, no, we need blood. We go to mosques, we go to churches. We are using these platforms. If at every other level it involves 1, 2, 3, let people say that blood donation is something we need. Like today, many people know that you must avoid unprotected sex.
Yes, so let's have
people know about the HIV and the AIDS, you know?
Well, I'll just like to stop the conversation there from this morning. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael from Mukondane, who is coming in from the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, and Miss Arimi, Barbara, who was also coming in from NSSF. Be sure to actually, in the entire week, find the time, just a few minutes out of your day, not more than 30 minutes, to go and donate. Now the hashtag is stand up for life, donate blood. That's the hashtag you can use and save a life together with the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services. From the entire morning at NTV crew, have yourselves a lovely Monday, and of course, happy new week. We look forward to having you tomorrow. It has been a great pleasure having you this morning.
Thank you.